She shouted, "This is who I am. Take it or leave it." After I caught her lying again, I said, "I'll leave it." What she walked into that night was a half-empty house and a note she'll never forget. I, 31 male, moved out of the apartment I shared with my girlfriend Natalie, 29, 3 days ago. She doesn't know yet because she's been at her work conference that I now know is actually a vacation with her friends. The conference that her company isn't even holding this year. We've been together 4 years, living together for 2. And the lies. Man, the lies just kept stacking up like dirty dishes she'd promised to wash but never did. Started small. She'd say she was working late, but her coworker would mention seeing her leave at 5. She'd claim she paid the electric bill, but I'd get the overdue notice. Said she couldn't afford her half of rent because of car repairs, but then posted pics of her new designer bag on Instagram. Each time I caught her, she'd cry, apologize, promise to do better. And stupid me, I believed her. The pattern was always the same. Lie, get caught, tears, apologies, love bombing for a week, then right back to it. I started documenting everything about 6 months ago. Screenshots, bank records, text contradictions. Not even sure why at first. Maybe just to prove to myself I wasn't going crazy. The breaking point came last Tuesday. Found out she'd been telling people we were engaged. Her cousin congratulated me at a barbecue, showed me the ring pics Natalie had sent her. Stock photos from Pinterest. When I confronted her that night, she tried to gaslight me again. Said I must have forgotten proposing. When I showed her the reverse image search results, she switched tactics. That's when she screamed those words that finally flipped the switch in my brain. This is who I am. I embellish sometimes, so what? Everyone does it. Either take it or leave it. I said, very calmly, "I'll leave it." She laughed. Actually laughed. Said I'd never leave, that I needed her, that I couldn't afford the apartment alone. Then she grabbed her overnight bag for her conference and left, slamming the door. Here's what she doesn't know. I can afford the apartment alone. Always could. I make decent money as a systems analyst. I was just trying to be fair about splitting costs, but more importantly, the lease is solely in my name. She's technically just a month-to-month occupant since she never signed the renewal last year. Another lie, she told me she'd sent the paperwork in. So I took Thursday and Friday off work. Rented a storage unit, and I methodically packed exactly 50% of everything we bought together. The coffee maker we split, took half the coffee pods. The plate set, took 4 of 8. The streaming services, removed her profiles. Even took one of the 2 succulents we bought together. But here's the thing, I only took what was genuinely half mine. Her personal stuff, untouched, neatly organized in the bedroom. Her clothes, her jewelry, her laptop, all there. I'm not a thief. I'm just done subsidizing her lies. The note I left on the kitchen counter reads, "Natalie, you asked me to take it or leave it. I've chosen to leave it. Your belongings are in the bedroom. You have 30 days to find a new place as per state law for month-to-month tenancies. Your November rent portion, $1,100, is due by the 5th, or formal eviction proceedings will begin. The engagement ring photos you sent your family are saved in a folder on the kitchen tablet in case you need them for your next relationship. Jackson." She comes back tonight thinking she's coming home to the same devoted boyfriend who always forgave her. Instead, she's walking into a half-empty apartment and the beginning of reality hitting her like a freight train. I'm staying at my brother's place. Already forwarded my mail. My phone's been on silent, but I can see the notifications starting to pile up. She must be home. We'll update when the dust settles. Update 1. Holy hell, the entitlement is off the charts. So she got home around 8 p.m. last night. The call started at 8:03. 67 calls, over 100 texts, and about 20 voicemails that progressed from confusion to rage to bargaining to threats. I didn't answer a single one, but I did document everything. Some highlights from her texts. "This isn't funny, Jackson. Where's the TV? I bought it before we met. Took it with me. You can't just evict me. I'll call the cops for theft. Baby, please let's talk. You're really gonna throw away 4 years over some white lies? I have nowhere to go? My friends all think you're psycho. I'm calling a lawyer." At 11 p.m., she showed up at my brother Derek's house. Thankfully, he has a Ring doorbell. She stood there for 20 minutes, alternating between sobbing and screaming. Derek eventually went out. I stayed inside and told her to leave or he'd call the cops. She called him an enabler and said I was having a mental breakdown. This morning, the real entitlement started. She went to the apartment complex office and tried to get them to remove me from the lease, claiming I abandoned the property and she needed to add herself as the primary tenant. The property manager called me, confused. I emailed her our lease agreement and explained the situation. She informed Natalie that she has no legal standing and needs to coordinate with me about moving out. Then Natalie did something I didn't expect but absolutely should have. She called my mom. My mom, bless her, has dealt with Natalie's BS before. Natalie once told my mom she was pregnant to get out of helping with Thanksgiving dinner. She wasn't. So when Natalie called crying about me financially abusing her and leaving her homeless, my mom just said, "Sounds like you should have saved some of that money you spent on fake engagement photos." But here's where it gets really good. Remember that work conference? Her boss called me an hour ago. Turns out Natalie listed me as her emergency contact, and he was worried because she hadn't shown up for her shift this morning and wasn't answering her phone. I told him she was at a work conference. He said, "What conference? We don't have any conferences in November." I forwarded him the email she'd sent me about the conference, the one she'd photoshopped with the company letterhead. He was not pleased. Said he'd be handling this internally, but thanked me for the information. She must have sensed something was up because she started texting me again. "Did you call my work? You're trying to ruin my life? This is abusive. I'll tell everyone what you really are." The projection is incredible. She lied about a work conference, used a forged company email, and somehow I'm the bad guy for her boss finding out. My brother's girlfriend Jules is a paralegal, and she helped me draft a formal notice to vacate that I'm having delivered today via certified mail. Completely legal, by the book. 30 days notice, references state law, includes resources for tenant rights. Meanwhile, Natalie has started a social media campaign. Posted on Facebook that I kicked her out with no warning, and she's homeless because her ex is vindictive. The comments are interesting. Half are supportive, but the other half are people who've caught her in lies before. One mutual friend commented, "Didn't you tell me last month he was taking you to Paris for Christmas?" Another said, "Wait, I thought you guys were engaged?" The web of lies is unraveling fast. Oh, and the friends she was on conference with, one of them, Melissa, messaged me privately. Said Natalie told them I knew about the trip and was cool with it. Melissa apologized and said she had no idea Natalie was lying about it being work-related. She also mentioned Natalie spent the entire trip complaining about how I'm too boring, and she was planning to break up with me after the holidays so she could get through gift season first. Gift season. She was planning to use me through the holidays for presents. The entitlement is astronomical. More updates as this train wreck continues. Update 2. The extinction burst, learned that term from the comments, has been spectacular. First, she tried to break into the apartment at 2 a.m. Wednesday. I'd changed the locks, legally allowed since I'm the sole leaseholder, so she couldn't get in. But she tried her old key for about 10 minutes, then started kicking the door. Neighbors called the cops. She told them she lived there and was locked out. Cops asked for proof. She couldn't provide any. No mail, no lease, nothing with her name and the address. I wasn't there, but the doorbell cam caught everything. The officers told her to leave and not return without proper documentation or permission from the leaseholder. She screamed that I was controlling and abusive. One officer calmly said, "Ma'am, if you're not a legal resident here, you need to leave now, or we'll charge you with attempted breaking and entering plus disturbing the peace." She left, but not before yelling, "This isn't over." Thursday, her mom called me. That was entertaining. This woman who hasn't spoken to me in 2 years suddenly cares about my commitment to her daughter. Said I was cruel for throwing Natalie out on the street. I calmly explained that Natalie has 30 days notice, legally, and that I'd packed all her belongings safely. Her mom then said, and I quote, "She shouldn't have to pay rent. You're supposed to take care of her. She gave you the best years of her life." The best years? She's 29, not 65. And take care of her? Ma'am, your daughter has a full-time job. Well, yeah, about that job. She got fired Friday. Her boss discovered she'd not only lied about the conference but had falsified expense reports for client dinners. That never happened. Almost $3,000 worth over the past year. They're considering pressing charges. Suddenly, her tune changed completely. The angry text stopped. Now it was, "Jackson, I'm sorry, I need help. I lost my job, please can we talk? I know I messed up but I need you. You win okay? I'll change. I have nowhere to go and no money. Please don't do this, I love you." I didn't respond, but I did check our credit card statements from the last few months. Turns out, when she said she couldn't afford rent, she'd spent $2,400 on clothes and makeup. When she said her car broke down, $800 at a spa. The medical emergency that cost her $500? Concert tickets. Then Saturday happened. Oh boy, Saturday. She showed up at my brother's house with a U-Haul and 4 guys. Told them I was her ex who was keeping her stuff hostage and she needed help getting it back. These poor guys thought they were helping a domestic violence victim. Derek came out and explained the situation. Showed them the doorbell footage of her previous visit, the cops telling her to leave the apartment, everything. The guys were pissed at her. One of them said, "Lady, you told us he was abusive and had your things locked up illegally." Another said, "This is fraud. You hired us under false pretenses." They left. Without her, she had to call an Uber because she'd come with them in the truck. But the best part? One of those guys was wearing a body cam for liability reasons. Smart move in their line of work. He sent me the footage. In the truck, she was telling them I was violent, that she was scared of me, that I'd threatened her. She said she had a restraining order, but forgot it at home. She promised them an extra $100 each if they intimidated me into giving her more than just her stuff. She wanted the TV, the gaming console, even my laptop. I've saved all of this. Jules says it's golden evidence if she tries anything legal. Sunday, she sent her flying monkeys. 3 of her friends showed up at the apartment. But here's the thing, I'd already moved back in. When they knocked, I answered. The look on their faces was priceless. "We're here for Natalie's things," the leader, Amy, said. "Great," I said. "They're packed and ready. Let me get them." I'd already boxed everything up properly. Labeled boxes, bubble wrap for fragiles, even included an inventory list. Completely professional. They were expecting drama and got organized efficiency instead. As they were loading boxes, Amy tried one more time. "You know she loves you, right? She just makes mistakes sometimes." I said, "Lying about being engaged isn't a mistake. It's a choice. Forging company emails isn't a mistake. It's fraud. Spending rent money on designer bags isn't a mistake. It's financial manipulation." Amy shut up after that. The current status: Natalie is couch surfing with different friends each night because none of them want her more than a day or two. She's applied for unemployment but got denied because she was fired for cause. She's trying to get her mom to co-sign an apartment, but with no job and a fresh eviction process starting, she never paid November rent, nobody will rent to her. Meanwhile, I'm doing great. Sleeping better than I have in years. The apartment is clean, bills are paid on time, and there's no drama. My mom brought me dinner yesterday and said, "You look happier than I've seen you in years." I am. Natalie texted one more time last night. "You destroyed my life over nothing." No, Natalie, you destroyed your own life with lies. I just stopped enabling it. Final update. This is my last update because there's nothing left to update. Natalie is completely out of my life. And the karma bus didn't just hit her. It backed up and ran her over again. Remember that $3,000 in falsified expense reports? Her former company is pressing charges. Corporate fraud. She's looking at actual jail time if convicted. Her lawyer, court appointed because she can't afford one, reached out to me asking if I'd be a character witness. I declined. She never found an apartment. With no job, no references, and an eviction on her record, she had to move back in with her parents in another state. But here's the twist. Her parents only agreed to take her back if she got therapy, and gave them control of her finances until she's stable. Apparently, I wasn't her first victim. Her college ex reached out to me on Facebook after seeing her posts. She pulled the same stuff with him. Lies, manipulation, fake medical emergencies to get money. He ended up dropping out of school because she'd maxed out credit cards in his name. Yeah. credit cards, in his name, without him knowing. That made me check my credit report immediately. Found 2 inquiries I didn't recognize from last month. She'd tried to open cards in my name but got denied because I'd frozen my credit earlier this year after a data breach at work. Thank God for paranoia. The friends who helped her move? They all cut contact after comparing notes and realizing she'd told each of them different stories about our breakup. To Amy, I was abusive. To Melissa, I was cheating. To another friend, I was gay and using her as a cover. The stories were so wildly different that they couldn't ignore it anymore. Her social media meltdown was the final nail. She posted a long rant about how everyone abandons her and nobody understands what she's been through. Then she accused her former boss of sexual harassment, he's gay and happily married, her landlord of discrimination, and me of theft. Her own mother commented, "Natalie, please stop lying. Get help." Public, her own mother, called her out. Publicly. She deleted all her social media after that. Last I heard through the grapevine, she's working retail in her hometown, living under her parents' strict rules, and attending court-mandated therapy as part of her fraud case plea deal. She got probation and has to pay restitution to her former company. As for me, I'm thriving. Got a promotion at work. Turns out, being less stressed makes you more productive. Started dating someone new, taking it slow, but she's amazing. Actually honest. It's refreshing to be with someone who says they're running late and actually shows up late. Not 3 hours later with a wild story about car accidents that never happened. The apartment is mine, officially. Signed a new lease, just me. Got a cat. Named him Truth. Seemed fitting. Looking back, the red flags were everywhere. But you know what? I learned. I learned to trust my gut. To not accept "this is who I am" as an excuse for horrible behavior. To know that love isn't supposed to feel like constantly walking on eggshells, wondering what's real and what's another lie. To anyone reading this in a similar situation, document everything. Trust your instincts. And when someone shows you who they are, believe them. When someone screams "take it or leave it" about their toxic behavior, remember, leaving it is always an option. And sometimes, it's the best decision you'll ever make. Jackson out.